Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Brian. So I decided to create this channel for everyone who like to capture knowledge about WordPress, any type of programming, AWS environments, deployments, Dockers, Jenkins, anything that I basically know about programming. I will put this on this channel. So I appreciate it if everyone can go ahead and subscribe to my channel and like my videos in order to, get the rank up and share it with other people in our technical field. So yeah, for this first video, because I really and truly love AWS and WordPress, I am going to walk you guys through how to set up an WordPress instance on the minimum and basic system in AWS. Let's dive into it. All right, perfect. So we got our screen up. All you got to do, of course, you need an AWS account. So go ahead to aws.amazon.com. Sign into your console. I already have an account. If you don't have an account, just click on that sign up button under the console login. We are going to set up our WordPress environment in the Lightsail. So go ahead and search for Lightsail service. Click on Lightsail. And as you can see, I already have an instance here. But for this demo purposes, we are going to create a new instance, and you do that by clicking create instance. Pick your instance type, of course, Linux, the best. And then select the blueprint, which is kind of like the app that you would like on your platform, on your server to be installed by default. So I click on WordPress. You do have a WordPress multi-site option and plus other options, other options in here. But again, in this tutorial, we are only talking about WordPress. So yeah, we're gonna click on the single site WordPress, and just to be clear, this WordPress instance is provided by Bitnami. So we have to follow their documentation about this server and this WordPress environment setup. So let's go ahead and scroll to the bottom. You can avoid these two options as for now. This is basically just changing your keeper in order to log in and get access to the SSH in different by downloading your own private key. And then this is the launcher script. So if every time you want this server to be launched, the whole WordPress environment, what scripts do you want to execute? Enabling automatic snapshot. I always recommend this because you always want to back up every night, about every midnight, just to protect yourself from data loss and files and documents. So I think the default is fine. If you're in the Eastern time like me, you can click on Eastern time and then just click on the time that you would like. So I would pick 23. Then you have a different options within the instance plan. The cheapest one, of course, is $3.50. These prices do change, but barely they change, but they do change. So be mindful about that. If you have an account that you just sign up, they would give you 3 months free. So it's kind of like an AWS tier on $3, $5, and $10. But if you need your environment to be much more heavier in RAM and that you have a lot of traffic, then you do want to look into other options such as 20, 40, 80, and 160. Of course, the biggest instance that they provide is $160, and it comes with 32 gigabytes of memory, 8 VPCUs, processing, 640 gigabyte SSD storage, and then 7 terabyte of transfer. So for this demo purposes, we're just gonna click on $3.50, just because this is test. Then go ahead and call this environment. It would usually be your site, and then your company and a website, or whatever you're using WordPress for. So in this case, I'm gonna call it example website. You can tag your instance. I barely use it. I never use this tagging in my life. So, but it is important if you do have many instances that you will run for your clients and you want to tag in based on certain information. So go ahead and create your instance. Perfect. As you can see, it is grayed out. So the instance is being manipulated into the AWS server. So meanwhile, I will go to networking, and I would allocate a static IP by clicking on create a static IP. And then we're gonna call this example website IP. As you can see, we have our example instance right here that we can attach this static IP to. Sometimes this attached to an instant area would not show up just because maybe you're doing it too quickly. So just give it about a minute for your instance to be populated before you can attach a static IP to it. So let's click on example and then create this static IP. And voila, we have a static IP that is attached to our WordPress instance. If we click on home now, as you can see, the server is running. So now we can move to the next step, which is logging into the website. So let's click on, so we click on this SSH icon right here. Hopefully the server is running. Yep, as you can see, I would guess that they actually announced it too early that the server is actually running, but it is not. This is AWS error or issue that they probably need to resolve. So we would just give it like a minute. Meanwhile, I would look for the documentation from Bitnami WordPress Lightsail in Google, just because we do have to get our script in order to execute in our SSH window to retrieve the first user password. So let's click on this. Okay, let's click on this. Let's scroll in the bottom. You're welcome to read all this information, but I already know what I'm looking for, and that is in command line. If I can find this command line, let's see. Yep. This is the command line that we're trying to execute. Is cat bitnami _ application _ password. Go ahead and copy that. Our instance is still not running, so I would execute that window and try to open another SSH. Perfect. So our instance is running. And now we can go ahead and execute what we got from Bitnami documentation and retrieve our password. So this is our password. This is what we need to store somewhere in order to get access to the first user. So click copy. You can leave this open, but because of this demo purpose, I'm just gonna leave it open and just gonna go ahead and get the IP which we are going to log into the backend. So I would click on this and then copy that IP. And then in another window, I will paste that. There you go. You see that this is the default WordPress installation, and you see that the 2022 theme in there in the front end. So now we have to go to the back end. So I will click /wp-admin. And the first user that AWS Lightsail or Bitnami create for us is actually called user. The password is what we get from here, from this SSH console. Then we go ahead and log in. And there you go. You are officially in the WordPress. You can go ahead to the settings and change all your, all your information that you would like this site to be called. Example site. Oh, we delete that and save. And we are going to change the first user and the only administrative user in the system for security purposes. And the way you do that, you just go to click on users, all users, add new user. And then we will call this user, for this is an example, my name, Brian at agetcorp.com. Brian and agetcorp.com. I'm just gonna create some easy remembering password in this case. Please do not use weak password in WordPress. Use something more secure and something that you can store somewhere in order to retrieve it back. So I will confirm this weak password in this case, but again, do not put a weak password in WordPress. And then I will click on the role. You have to make sure that the role is administrator. Otherwise, you are not going to be deleting that first initial user that the Bitnami and AWS system created. So make sure that is administrator and then click on add new user. Perfect. So now we have our user here. All we have to do is log out, log in by Brian, and then go to users, all users, and then delete that other user, and then I will contribute all those content to Brian. Perfect. So now the only user, the only administrator on this instance is Brian, which is me, and the previous user, which was created by the system, it's gone now. Once you do log into the back end, make sure that you update. Of course, you always want it to be up to date. For any reason that you might not want to update, please do consider that as well. So let's go ahead and update in this system. Perfect. All right, cool. So the system, the WordPress is updated. And as you can see, AWS by default has installed some plugin which they think is necessary for anyone starting a WordPress site. Of course, we are all familiar with most of this stuff: Jetpack, anti-spam, SEO, blah blah blah, AMP. You can go ahead and delete any of them that you do not require, or you can go ahead and update them and activate them as you need it. Yep, and that's it. So just treat it basically as a regular WordPress instance. I would say the next challenge that you kind of want to consider as a developer is to make sure you point your domain by creating an A record and a CNAME of www to be pointing to this IP, so that way you can use something like example.com, right, /WP admin/index.php. So that would be it for this tutorial. I hope you liked it. Please do not forget to subscribe and like these videos. I am going to create them as, you know, as my daily experience in my work environment and in what I do for other clients. So please be mindful about that. I can't just be creating stuff. So guys, thank you so much. Thumbs up, and I wish everyone a great night. Yup. Peace.